Welcome to the Chimney and Fireplace Success Network, a weekly broadcast sponsored by CVC Coaching, hosted each week by industry speaker, coach, author, and educator Jerry Eisenhower. Our presentations are produced to assist business owners and managers in turning their business dreams into their business realities. And now, here's your host, Jerry Eisenhower.
And I want to welcome you again to another episode of the Chimney and Fireplace Success Network. This is episode number 60, and the title of this episode is Meeting Processes for Success. The Chimney and Fireplace Success Network is sponsored every week by the CVC Success Group, where we're trying to provide you the tools to make your business dreams into your business realities. Look us up on the web, www.cvcsuccessgroup.com. Well, the subject matter today is meetings and meetings in business, and how meetings are going to take you to a higher level, more productivity, less waste, more sales, less problems, less chaos, less frustration. Now, to go through this, I have a system that I stress in my coaching business that I've developed from lean processes, from Michael Gerber's E-Myth, and from the book called Traction by Mr. Wickman. All of these have provided me the input for the meeting systems that I suggest that every client use in their business, and the ones that are using this are surely moving to a much higher level. They're reducing their waste, they're increasing their efficiency, they're having better morale, better communication. You see, as we go around and we visit with businesses, one of the major issues we find is there's a lack of communication, there's a lack of systems, there's a lack of processes, there's a lot of things, and the meeting processes that I'm going to share with you today will help you to get past these frustrations and will help you to eradicate the chaos you may have in your own business. So with that, let's get started. So the first meeting that we suggest every company has is a daily meeting. In other words, this meeting starts at the beginning of every workday, and we need all our people together for this. Now, what are we doing in this meeting? We are tracking the previous day's successes and where we may have failed. We often steer people to track their failures in the following areas. In delivery, did we deliver on our customer promise yesterday? In quality, did we deliver the quality that we promised to our customers? How did we do in safety? Were there any near misses, or were there accidents that occurred that have affected our ability to service our clients? And lastly, we're looking at profitability and waste. What we want to do is track everything that went wrong yesterday. Then we've got to transfer it into the lost man hours that this caused and the waste dollars that came to be, because the waste comes directly off the bottom line of every business. And if we can reduce waste, that money is going to go directly to your bottom line. Always be aware of that. So you got to develop a system to do this. Now, I have developed some webinars on how to do this. If you'd like more information on how to put together your morning meeting, send me an email, jerry@cvcsuccessgroup.com, and I'll be glad to share some methods with you of how to put this together, how to make it work for you. Now, what we're going to do with that information, we're going to collect the data in this daily meeting, and we'll talk about where we're going to take this data to next. Now, at the end of this morning meeting of tracking yesterday, which should last less than 5 minutes, I then suggest that every single day that you go into a short training. This can be done with the daily tidbits that we produce here at CVC Success Group on our education platform. It can also be programs that you assemble yourself and build your own content of how to train your people. You got to remember, as a business owner, you probably know a lot of things in your head, and what you've got to do is deliver this in a way that the people that work under you and for you will understand this. So this is where the daily training in small bites That's what's so important here. When we do this daily training, we're going to concentrate on one specific item. And at the end of that training, you want to enter into some discussion. How will this training benefit you as the company? When you put this together, what you're going to see is by doing this training, you're going to help take your people to a higher level of expertise, and they will understand a lot more things. This was the goal that we had when we started building our daily training tidbits on our education platform, which we now have over 160 of these that are there for our clients and customers to use and for the subscribers to the education platform. But you don't have to use our system for this. You can build your own content. There's a lot of sources out there to build this content. Now, as we talked earlier, we collected the data during this meeting. The meeting was held in an unemotional manner. The meeting was held where it was a team meeting. We're measuring the success of the team as a whole. We don't want to focus down on individual weaknesses, even though we're going to be able to pull them out of this waste study that we're doing. Now, you've collected the data. What happens next? The next is your weekly managers meeting. In traction, this is called a level 10 meeting. But once a week, the leadership team gets together and reviews the processes and the systems of the previous week and looks at where there's been successes and failures. And out of this managers meeting, this leadership team meeting, what we're going to do is we're going to develop the systems to take to eradicate these issues. You see, every time there's a mistake, there's 3 answers for every mistake in a business. Answer number 1 is there is no system or process. If this is the case, then the leadership team has got to embark and build this SOP, this process, this system of how to do this properly. Number 2, there could be a case of the system you have is flawed. It is wrong, which means you've got to stop and you've got to modify the system to go to the next level. The third thing is someone simply did not follow the process, but it delves down deeper than that. Is the process as spelled out? Is it understandable by everyone? Is it a training issue that your people have not been trained to do this properly? This is what these meetings are going to bring you, where you come in to do the problem solving so you can address these issues and keep them from repeating themselves later. It's vastly important to have this level 10 weekly managers meeting, as I call it, or as Traction calls it, your level 10 meeting. The next meetings you need to have are your bi-weekly or monthly company meetings. This is where you're going to listen to what the people that work for you, what are their thoughts? What are their suggestions? This is a team meeting. This could be where you're rolling out new processes, new procedures in the meeting, or it could be simply listening to what your team members feel are going wrong and what are their suggestions for improvement. Remember, one of the biggest problems in most companies is a lack of communication. So this company meeting is intended to increase the ability you have to communicate effectively in the company. Now, the next meeting is one that you may need or you may not need. This is what we call the same page meeting. And the same page meeting is held between the partners, the ownership of the company. And what this is for is to ensure that all the members of the leadership team in the ownership side their opinions are in agreement. They're not working against each other. The same page meeting is for them to establish themselves as the leaders of the team and ensure that they are on the same wavelength and present the same thought processes and not disagreement out to their workforce. If the leadership is divided, that's going to result in a divided workforce, and that can be the kiss of death for many businesses. You've got to make sure that your leaders are all on the same page and moving forth in the same manner. The next meeting you're going to have is your annual meeting. And what's the annual meeting going to go over? It's going to go over the previous year, what went good, what went bad, what changes are you planning for the coming year? How do you see this embarking? What do you see as new things that the company will be progressing into. What products or services may you be discontinuing? You need to be explaining this out at the annual meeting. It's kind of I call it also a state of the union meeting. What's the state of the company's union at this point? The next meeting you need to consider having is one that everyone in the company is involved in. And this is likely going to need to be facilitated by a person from outside the company. And this is called the SWOT meeting. And what does SWOT stand for? It is spelled SWOT. And the S stands for your strengths. The W stands for your weaknesses. The O stands for your opportunities, and the T stands for your threats. And going into this meeting, you have to understand your strengths and weaknesses are all going to be interior issues. Your opportunities and threats, those are going to be exterior issues. By going through an effective SWOT process annually, you're going to have a team that is going to have a higher understanding for what you need to do in the company to keep moving towards your goals, moving towards what those dreams were that you have. Now, a lot of companies are now in the process. They're having this SWOT meeting once a year, and it's a great process. Again, you've got to pull an outside facilitator in to effectively do this. We do this for many of our clients. We conduct annual SWOT meetings for many of them, and we do it every year. It's an effective way to look at where you've been and where you're going and how you're going to get there. So what I've detailed here is 6 different meetings that you need to consider for implementation in your company. The first was the daily meeting. The next is the weekly managers meeting. The next is the bi-weekly or monthly company meeting. You need the same page meeting to make sure your leadership is all on the same path. We need the annual meeting with everyone in the company. And lastly, we need to plan an annual SWOT meeting, SWOT analysis of the company. By doing these meetings, what you're going to do is you're going to open up the communication within your company to a much higher level, and you're going to see that you're going to move forward with more profits, less problems, better communication. You're going to eradicate waste, and you're going to make everything less frustrating and less chaotic within the company. And that's the meeting processes that we recommend that every company employ in their company. So what are your thoughts on this? Are you doing your meetings? Are your meetings with your people? How is the communication within your company? Do you feel like it could improve? The meeting process could just be your answer. And with that, I want to thank you for joining me today here on another episode of the Chimney and Fireplace Success Network. This is sponsored every week that we bring it out by the CVC Success Group. Look us up on the web, www.cvcsuccessgroup.com. Look up at our new education program. It's been out for about a year now, so it's really not new anymore, but it's taking people to a much higher level in training through a virtual presentation of a phenomenal number of courses. And this platform keeps getting larger and larger and larger. And as people learn to use this, not only for using our training, but build their proprietary side of their in-house training, it's turning into one fantastic tool for the people that understand how to use this. It's next level education, guys and gals. So again, thanks for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you, listening and speaking to you on a future episode of the Chimney and Fireplace Success Network. Talk to you next time. Hope you're having a phenomenal, great week. Talk later. This is Jerry Eisenhower, out of here again.
Thanks for joining us here each week at the Chimney and Fireplace Success Network, sponsored by CVC Coaching, providing you the coaching and educational outreach services you need to move to your dream destination in business and in life.